like it's gonna cover up the fall days that we have. So we have a sweet bowl and today is I'm from the South, a Southern girl. I think Lily wants to say hello. She's enjoying this. Hello. Today I'm going to be making an apple pie. I have my apples that I've already peeled and sliced, and I have them soaking in some water. I'm going to rinse those and get started with that. And I didn't feel like making a pie crust today, so I got the 2 deep pans that's already been done. And what I've done is I punched some holes all around the bottom and along the side. And I have my oven going preheated for 400 degrees. I'm going to pop that in there for maybe 6 to 7 minutes because I thought it out. I didn't put it in there as it was frozen, so I'm going to keep an eye on that. Yeah. So once you peeled your apples, you want to save the rinds, the hulls, and from when you're making apple juice. I have some of these in the refrigerator, and later I'm going to do a YouTube video on making the homemade apple cider vinegar. So I'm going to go ahead and get started with this. If you want to see the full recipe, I will upload the link onto my Facebook page, the YouTube link. I'm not going to do it completely here on Facebook because I'm starting a YouTube channel, and that will kind of be defeating the whole purpose. So if you like, go ahead and click on Sebi, find me on YouTube. Click the like button, click subscribe, turn on the bell notifications. You get notifications of my recipes, herbs, supplements, etc., etc. And enjoy the rest of your Sunday. Thank you. So I have the apples all strained. And in my saucepan, I'm melting 3 sticks of butter. You can use 2, but I'm being naughty today, so I'm going to melt 3. To my butter, I'm going to add a tablespoon of cinnamon, and you can make that to your flavor, whether it's a half a teaspoon or a tablespoon. It's just up to what you and your family prefer. I'm going to go ahead and stir that. And I'm going to add 3 tablespoons of water. One. 2. And 3 tablespoons of water. And stir that up. If you like, you can add a pinch of nutmeg. I'm going to add just a pinch. I like that nutmeg with apples. Let me grab my nutmeg. I had to actually screw it open because I hadn't used it. Just that much of nutmeg. Going to get ready for my sugar substitute. I'm not using sugar at all, so it's going to be sugar substitute, so it's going to be diabetic friendly. And I've taken my pie out of the oven. Oh, that'll be fine. So where I punched the holes and left it in, so it's a little dried out, and it's going to be ready. The apples are pretty sweet, but they're not too sweet. So you can go ahead and add a cup or a third of a cup of your stevia or whatever sugar substitute that's to your tasting, or you use it, or honey, etc. I'm going to go ahead and stir that around. I'm going to go ahead and pour my apples in. This is about 3 cups of apples. 3 cups. If you feel like it's too much when you get ready to pour in your pie filling, it's going to be too much, you can always save this and preserve it for another time, or you can make like quick hot apple pies on top of French toast or whatever. So we're going to cover this and simmer it for about 5 minutes, and just make sure that until the apples get tender. We don't want them to get too tender where they, well, we want to get tender but not too soft where they smush up, because you don't want it to get smushed in the pie, because we're also going to be baking it for a while. I did want to come back on camera and show where I did stir and mix this up very well. I'm just going to add just a touch bit of water, because we don't want it to be running. We want it to be thick, but we don't want it to be running. Okay, we want it to be juicy, I meant to say. Yeah, you see that little extra water? It made all the difference. So just want to bring it back up to a boil, and once it starts to boiling, you want to simmer it back on, turn it down on low, simmer it, and cover it with a lid. And you want to start checking the tenderness of it after about 5 minutes. I'm going to do mine after 3 minutes because my apples, they're not quite even, so I'm going to have to keep an eye on them. So they start boiling. So at this point, we're going to go ahead and turn the heat down to a simmer and cover it with a lid. Okay, like magic, about 3-4 minutes later, I'm back, and what I have here is a tablespoon of water and some cornstarch. Sorry about the steam. And we're going to pour that in here for some thickening. I'm going to do a little at a time, because you can always add what you cannot take away. Then we're going to stir that up and get the thickness consistency that you desire. Again, you want your pie to be juicy, but you do not want it running. Let's see if I can do a figure 8. Take away some of the steam. Alright, so I add a little bit more cornstarch, just letting that simmer. I would say that may be a good thickness consistency. What do you think? Just make sure it's not runny. I want it to be running. I'm going to cover this again and let it simmer for a couple of more minutes, so my pie won't be running. Okay, so I removed it from the stove. I have it sitting here on the counter, and I'm going to let this cool down so that everything can cook evenly. So I'll be back once it's completely cooled. And while I'm doing that, I'm going to go ahead and layer the pie crust. I'm going to take this out of here. I'm going to sprinkle some flour down and roll it out with my rolling pin, and so that can be flat for my top layer while it's cooling and everything. Okay. The process, I put it in a dish, and I'm going to sit it in the window so it'll cool out. It is November, and let that do some cooling. Once it gets cooled down some, you can slide it in the freezer if you have room, or in the refrigerator to speed up the process. My pie crust idea didn't work out too well. Once I poured it over, it just crumbled like everywhere. So what I ended up doing was putting it in a bowl and sprinkling some cold water over it, and then making a dough of it again. So it's like I'm gonna have to go ahead and roll it out. Okay, so it's rolled out and measured, and we're going to work with it from here. Okay, got the pie crust. It's been completely warm, but it's kind of like room temperature, so it's fine. So I'm going to go ahead. I got the oven preheated to 350. So I'm going to go ahead and put the top over here. Okay, so we got it on, and I went ahead and smushed my sides together. And where it was kind of, and broke the sides off. Where the sides, if it was a little piece cracked, I just went ahead and placed that on top. Cut in my ventilation holes, sprinkled some cinnamon on top, and I have it on a cookie sheet. Well, this is like a pie sheet. Well, that's because the pies, sometimes they like to spit, and we don't want that dripping down in your oven. We're going to pop that in a 350 oven. We're going to put the timer for 30 minutes, and then after 30 minutes, we're going to check on it like every 5 minutes. But it shouldn't take no more than 35 minutes because the apples and everything wasn't raw. If it was raw, it would have been around 50 minutes. Okay? Okay, and the pie is out of the oven. And it went to bubbling really good to let me know that it was done. It's not the prettiest thing because of the mishap with the pie crust. So maybe next time we will actually do my crust from scratch as I normally do. But it smells absolutely delicious in here. Oh my, it smells so delicious in here. All right, thank you so much for joining me. And again, please tap the like button, subscribe, tap on the bell notifications so you can get more wonderful desserts, diabetic friendly. And also I make other delicious things in here from the Southern Girl Cooking with Sebi. All right, thank you. Peace and love, world. Enjoy the rest of your day.